This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
It's like my birthday. It's like a vacay. Yeah. Hey, hey, hey. I want it all day. I want it all day. It's like a movie. It's running through me. Hey, hey, hey. Press play. Press play. Lights, camera, action. Just give me that feeling. Give me that. Give me that. Just give me that. Just give me that feeling. Give me that. Give me that. Just give me that. Take me higher than I've been before. Keep me coming back for more. That feeling. That feeling. That feeling.
Following program is rated MA LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, we already know that. I think that's for sure, as we are hanging out and doing our thing. Anyways, today is Wednesday, January the 15th of 2025, day 15th, of course, of the year, and only 350 days left to go. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM and hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
Radio Big USA, Canada, UK.
Yep, that's what we do. We hang out, we do our stuff, we come in and all that fun stuff, no doubt there. So how have you been? How's the last 24 treated you? You know, I have learned more about a circumference of a circle over the last 24 hours than I think that at any point in my life. But that's a whole other story to discuss, maybe at some other time. So if you're new here, let me explain what we do. Our show consists of safety in the news and safety. That's kind of what we do. We bring in some professional broadcasters. They chat away about everything that's going on. I give you the read of what we find on the tea leaves, and then we go from there. If you've been here before, I appreciate you coming back and hanging out with us. Now, keep in mind that we are a radio show that has a podcast that goes into a streaming video service when it's all said and done. Now, we do come across multiple video services, so don't get too scared with that, because that's okay. But the problem is that if you interact with the show, I don't pay attention to any of the social media stuff as it's happening in real time. So with that being said, the best solution is to go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. They'll get you moving and grooving down the path of least resistance. At least it seems that way. So that's what you can do if you want to come and hang out with us. Video, audio, and text messaging is the options once you get there. Now, I will tell you, I was playing around yesterday on LinkedIn, and holy crapaloli, I did not realize how many people send messages via LinkedIn Messenger. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm terrible at checking stuff. Now, and when I say that, I'm terrible at that. Like, if you shoot me an email, yeah, I'll probably pay attention. If you go directly into my phone, yeah, slide it on the DMs, yeah, maybe. But, you know, third-party services that you have to check into each individual one, probably not happening anytime soon. Just letting you know. Anyways, with that being said, why don't we start talking right away about what the hell was trending in the overnight?
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so as we take a look at the trends of the ends, Elon Musk faces another federal lawsuit, and with just days to go with the Biden administration. So I'm sure we'll talk about that as we get into the details. Also, Diddy's defense thinks that they have a win. Yeah, a win. Winner chicken dinner. And Coldplay releases a moon music companion film. What? Moon music companion film? Is that the name of the album or something? I have a funny feeling that that's going to be the case. Also, more delays for Hollywood events, which I think at this particular point would probably be kind of expected when it's all said and done. So there you go. And then some good news from Princess Kate in the Royals. So we'll talk about some of that stuff. Now, keep in mind that we do video of Hour 1 and podcast of Hour 1. This is really a 3-hour show because Hour 2 and 3 go up to Radio Big. That's kind of where we hang out. And we'll combine some other stuff that we do. So first hour, we focus on safety and the news. Second and third hour, it's more entertainment and music. So we'll go through that. And the reason people go, well, why don't you play the music stuff on the video? Can't do that on a video stream. It's so difficult to be able to get the rights to music when it comes to videos. But we can have that discussion as we get into our future generation of stuff, because that's what happens. Anyways, with that being said, I have the people hanging out from Feature Story News. They are ready to talk. They're ready to talk about everything that's going on, because believe me, they sit right there waiting for me to go, welcome in. So as they sit back and wait as we get close enough to the top of the hour, here we go. Let's do that now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. South Korean authorities have arrested impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol at his residence. Yoon was holed up there for weeks and will face questioning over his short-lived imposition of martial law last month. Rebecca Bunden reports.
South Korea's impeached president is under investigation on charges of insurrection. Authorities managed to arrest him on Wednesday following a failed attempt earlier this month amid a standoff with Yoon's security forces. Last month, Yoon declared martial law, but was forced to back down hours later amid opposition from protesters and lawmakers, plunging the country into political chaos. He was suspended from office and lawmakers voted to impeach him, a decision which would have to be upheld by the country's constitutional court to remove him from office. Rebecca Bunden, Tokyo.
Talks to agree a ceasefire in Gaza are in their final stages, according to mediators in Qatar. An agreement is closer than ever, according to indications from all sides. The proposal is said to include the release of dozens of hostages and a phased withdrawal of Israeli troops from the territory. The Times of Israel diplomatic correspondent Leza Behrman says a lot of questions remain.
In order to reach that phase where we're actually talking about a new governance in Gaza, we have to get beyond the first stage and beyond the second stage. The second stage is where soldiers, men of military age that Hamas considers soldiers, even though they're civilians, are released and Israel pulls out fully from the Gaza Strip. Once we get to that, then we move to the stage of the reconstruction of Gaza and a new governance, but we don't know who's going to do that. Obviously, Hamas is going to be the most powerful force still in the Gaza Strip.
Russia's vowing to respond to what Kiev calls its most massive attack of the war so far. Ukraine says it struck ammunition depots and chemical plants hundreds of kilometres inside Russia's borders. Moscow says it shot down US and UK-supplied long-range missiles. Flights and train operations in India's capital, New Delhi, are facing massive disruption as intense fog leads to zero visibility in some areas. Dozens of flights have been cancelled and delayed as the region faces a cold wave. Ishan Garg reports from New Delhi.
A thick layer of fog is engulfing India's capital, New Delhi, driven by poor air quality levels and an ongoing cold wave. In many parts of the region, visibility is down to 0 meters, and aviation officials say it's making it difficult for flights not compliant with Category 3 safety standards to operate. Category 3 or CAT 3 refers to basic level of sensors and on-flight equipment required to land the planes in difficult conditions such as intense fog. Local weather conditions are also playing a role, impacting rail services as well. At least 26 trains have also been delayed or cancelled, with disruptions likely during the day. Ishan Garg, New Delhi.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, looking today at praise lavished on US President-elect Donald Trump by Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. Mr. Lavrov said on Tuesday that Moscow is open to talks about the Ukraine conflict and open to discussing the provision of security guarantees for Ukraine. It is all a far cry from Moscow's warmongering. Fred Fleitz is former Chief of Staff of the National Security Council in the first Trump administration and a prominent voice in the president-elect's ear.
President Trump is taking a realistic approach to this conflict. I don't know where his position is exactly. My colleague, General Keith Kellogg, will be the special envoy for Russia and Ukraine, and he's engaged in extensive discussions and negotiations here in Washington. He's working closely with the Trump administration. What we're hearing from Lavrov is the beginnings of a compromise that can end this terrible war. It's not going to be a perfect deal. Each side is going to have to give up something, but we have a president who wants to end the war, and that's the big change.
Behind the scenes, the Trump transition team is preparing for an early face-to-face meeting between the new US president and Vladimir Putin, and there are unconfirmed reports that the two men may already have spoken even before the presidential inauguration in Washington next week. It's all further evidence, say Trump supporters, of the determination of America's new leader to bring the conflict to an end. I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, South Korean authorities have arrested impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol at his residence. Talks to agree a ceasefire in Gaza are in their final stages, according to mediators in Qatar. Russia's vowing to respond to what Kiev calls its most massive attack of the war so far. And flights and train operations in India's capital, New Delhi, are facing massive disruptions as intense fog leads to zero visibility in some areas. That's the latest feature story news. Ollie Barrett reporting.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
Safety never sounded so terrible.
Rated R Safety Show.
It's a new year, but it's feeling harder than ever to find and hire qualified people you need, especially for small businesses. That's where LinkedIn Job comes in. They make it easier to find people you want to talk to faster and for free. You can create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. Focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience and use screening questions to get your role in front of the most qualified people. Then use the simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering qualified hires versus leading competitors. I have to tell you that we have used LinkedIn Jobs to even find some of the people that we have here at Safety FM. LinkedIn Jobs can help you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know that every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your jobs for free on linkedin.com/safetyfm. That's linkedin.com/safetyfm to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. And don't forget to tell them that you heard it right here on Safety FM. Radio.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Here is another bit for our competitors to copy. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, here we go. 16 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Whip-About Wednesday. Yes, you know, it is the most picturesque day of the week. It feels that way, at least around here. So there you go. Anyways, with that being said, let's start talking about what the hell's going on inside of the world, because people want to know, and I like to share. So let's do this. Xanax and alcohol may seem like a good idea for a nervous flyer, but the 34-year-old Zachary Greary, it was a costly mistake. After taking the concoction, Zachary wet himself in his seat in a nearby aisle, forcing the flight from Amsterdam to change course and the pilot to dump more than $30,000 worth of fuel, despite offering the court the sincerest apology, offering claims that Greary not only soiled himself, but also acted unruly and was intoxicated, and he could not understand where he was. He was ordered to pay the damages caused of the flight, which amounted to about $10,308. You know, this is not the first time that I've heard of somebody doing the Xanax stuff before they get on the plane, for them to be relaxed on the flight itself. But the alcohol concoction is something new. But that thing of them actually soiling themselves, because they're trying to be politically correct and not say piss themselves, seems to be a common bond. And that's not a bond that you probably want to have in common with anyone.
It's this show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
Yeah, I'll definitely go with the too stupid aspect, that's for sure. Anyways, Elon Musk faces another lawsuit connected with his purchase of Twitter, now turned into X. Oh yes, this is for the Time and Securities Exchange Commission. Before beginning the hostile takeover of the company, Musk quietly bought shares on the social media platform, eventually worth more than 5% of the all outstanding shares. The SEC argues the threshold should have required Musk to publicly disclose his stake before he did. Waiting to disclose his ownership value, at the time helped him save about $150 million. They argue because other investors would have valued the stock differently had they known that he was making the moves. Reps for Musk say that the suit is a sham. Last month, the SEC gave Musk the option to pay a fine to avoid the lawsuit. No word whether the SEC, under the direction of the second Trump administration, will continue to pursue the charges. But you can probably guess what's going to happen next. So this is according to CNBC. So let's talk about that real quick. That's kind of a weird thing, and I'm not sure how the security exchange stuff goes. But if I'm going to start investing in something and then essentially try to take it over, Why should I disclose that I did that? I mean, think about this real quick. Let's imagine that there's a very big entertainment complex. Let's even call it a resort in Orlando. And they essentially bought a whole bunch of land by different realtors and investors, quote unquote, and we'll use those terms, investors, but the investors were selling out by one party to overtake this big chunk of land. And then they built an entertainment complex, a resort, let's say within 90 miles of land. Is there a difference there? I mean, I'm just asking. I'm just a total idiot when it comes to all this stuff.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so take a listen to this. GoFundMe has raised more than $100 million for the families affected by the LA wildfires, thanks to several donations from celebrity. Shark Tank Barbara Cora Karan, who she only just goes by Barbara on the show, donated $50,000. Arnold Schwarzenegger gave $10,000. Musician Marshmello contributed $45,000. Sofia Vergara turned $20,000 in. Jonas Brothers and Zach Bryan both donated $15,000, while a handful of celebs, including Meghan Trainor, Gal Gadot, Pink, and Kristen Bell contributed $5,000. So there's a lot of money being definitely donated towards that because, I mean, if you have looked at any of that stuff on the news, it's just devastating. I mean, in regards to just everything that is going on there. And, I have a hard time understanding about the whole policy thing about them potentially, I guess, denying or canceling people's policies prior to the fires, or saying that if it's arson, the wildfires or the arson was caused, or the wildfires were caused by arson that led to the people's houses being lost, that the insurance companies don't have to cover it. Now that straight there is some craziness.
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
Yeah, nothing like chewing on ice inside of your ear, huh? Anyways, Mandy Moore and her family have been staying with actress Hilary Duff and her husband Matthew Coma after losing their home in L.A. Moore's brother-in-law, who also lost their home in the blaze, took to Instagram to thank Duff and Coma for not only opening up their home, but also setting up a GoFundMe for him and his wife, who are expecting a baby. When Moore shared the GoFundMe page with followers, she was met with a swift backlash from people suggesting just to give her own money and not to ask for donation. She addressed the comments by saying that they are not helpful or empathetic, while adding that of course they are helping financially. In addition to losing their homes, Moore said that her children's school is also gone. This is according to THR. So there you go. Also, the red carpet season 2 premiere of Netflix action drama The Night Agent has been canceled due to the LA wildfire. Season 2, which follows newly minted night action agent Peter Sutherland, Gabriel Basso, and cybersecurity expert Rose Larkin. Let's see. Racing to save the city from terrorist attacks, and start streaming on January the 23rd. So there you go. So take a listen to this. The federal lawsuit that accuses Capital One of deceptively misleading customers with high-yield savings account offering. The suit, brought by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, also known as the CFPB, alleges that the bank offered two similar name saving account products with vastly different interest rates, but specifically preventing employees from explaining the difference between the two. One is called the 360 savings, and the other is calling the 360 performance saving. While the performance version higher yields, the basic version only offers a 0.3%. According to the suit, the only thing that has ever meaningful distinguished was the 360 performance savings from the 360 savings is the former product higher yield rate. A rep from Capital One tells the New York Times that they intend to dispute the accusation in court. Well, no shit. Of course you're going to dispute it, because you know how much that's going to cost you if you lose the suit. Now think about that real quick. 0.3, getting 0.3 back on your money, or getting the high yield one, and depending on the bank, of course, is anywhere between 3.5 and 4.5 is what I've seen. So I don't know. It gets interesting that we start talking about banking stuff because I've been reading a lot of stuff about be your own bank, and boy, could we get into a whole plethora of things to talk about. But maybe that's another day and another conversation, and not even 100% sure if it would be on this show, but something to think about. And yes, if you look it up, it's BYOB, and it does not stand for bring your own booze or bring your own beer. Just so you know. Anyways, a verbally abusive Eagles fan went viral for his disgusting taunt of a female Packers fan on Sunday at the playoff game in Philly, and now has been banned from ever watching his team in person ever again. Speaking to the local Philly media, the victim of harassment, Allie Keller, says the man in the video, Ryan Caldwell, kept trying to pick fights with her and her fiance, Alex Bassaro. Bassaro, he stated that with a playful jabs at first and then kind of saying things like, to us when they sat down, he adds, and it got worse and worse as the game went on. The Eagles' lead grew and the taunts got worse. Caldwell told the couple to have a better attitude despite his harassment and the Packers' poor performance. When the couple refused to engage in a tit-for-tat, Caldwell started making it personal. He allegedly told Keller, actually, you're not good-looking enough to be talking to me. The insults continued until Bazzaro started filming, which was enough to get Caldwell's pipe down. After the video swiftly went viral, Caldwell was quickly connected to the company that he works for and a social media justice consumer firm called BCT Partners. The firm publicly acknowledges Caldwell as the culprit for as far as not announced whether he has been terminated from his job. Caldwell also appeared to have wiped out all of his social media accounts. USA Today reports that the Eagles have banned Caldwell from attending any events at their stadium, Lincoln Financial Field. The team has also reportedly tracked down the woman and will be sending her a bunch of Packers gears as part of the apology. But Keller says that she hasn't heard anything yet from the team. So this is according to NBC Philadelphia. You know how stupid this is? Like, seriously. It's a dumb football game. Now, yep, I know some people love football and baseball and basketball, and they will tell you how, we did this as a team and all this other bullshit. And love that you have the community perspective, but you're not part of the team. Let's just be realistic, unless you're on the payroll. Yes, you might be paying into it because of your taxes, but that's a whole other story. But man, people get weird about this stuff. Like weird. Like if you ever look at some of this stuff that happens sometimes in stadiums and people getting into fights about, oh, you're wearing the wrong colors on this side and blah, 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 blah. I mean, I don't get it, man. I truly don't. It makes no sense to me. Like no sense whatsoever. Like you are so committed to a team that you should treat people like shit because that's going to be the best thing for you. I mean, that is just strange.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, take a listen to this. The Food and Drug Administration thinks that you're too stupid to turn around a food package to see what's in it. A new rule proposed to the regulatory agency would require food manufacturers to put products like fat, sodium, and sugar content on the front of its packaging. And as for anyone who has ever bought literally anything at the grocery store already knows, a complete nutrition information label is already required as such. Idiocracy, and to further the adult proof the packaging, the fat, sodium, and sugar content will only be described as low, medium, and high. If the proposed rule goes into effect, manufacturers would have until 2028 to comply. Now, I don't know when was the last time you went to Mexico, if you've been to Mexico, but man, when you get a product there that has too much sugar, too much fat, or they think that it's bad for you, it has these giant black labels on the front of it. And it tells you, hey, not good for you. Now, if they adopted here in the U.S. something similar, I think it's a genius idea. If you ever go anywhere outside of the U.S. and are looking at cigarettes, they have like some of the most horrid pictures on them as well. So maybe it's some stuff to think about as you are looking around. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Former football star Tim Tebow and his wife, former Miss Universe Demi Lee, are expecting their first child together. He's 37 and she's 29. They tied the knot back in 2020. Also, Jessica Simpson and Eric Johnson are calling it quits after 10 years of marriage. She's 44 and he's 45. Simpson confirmed the separation in a statement to People magazine, though she didn't spill any details. The two are parents of two daughters, a 12-year-old and a 5-year-old, and let's see, two daughters, and I guess a son, and an 11-year-old son. So there you go. Terrible news there, but it does happen, I guess. Okay, so let's talk about the Dow real quick. The Dow increased by 221 points to close at 42,518 on Thursday. The S&P increased by 6 points to close at 5,842, and the Nasdaq lost 43 points to close at 19,044. West Texas Intermediate closed at $78 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $80 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.07 on Tuesday, and Bitcoin, yes, good old Bitcoin, gained over 2% on Tuesday, trading just around 96,500. Tonight's Powerball drawing will be for $303 million jackpot or $132.8 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game, you have the opportunity to do so. No doubt about that. Anyways, take a listen to this. Sean Combs thinks that the freak-off videos that were confiscated by the government will actually work in his favor and prove that things were all consensual between him and then girlfriend Cassie. According to a new legal docs filed by Combs' team, the 9 or so videos feature private sexual activity between fully consenting adults in the long-term relationship. The defense also claims that the videos were turned over to the feds by Cassie, not Combs, as previously reported. No word on how this will play out in a slew of other accusations towards him. I don't know. That's going to be an interesting one because, listen, if it was a long-term relationship, as being said, and then all of a sudden now you're turning around and saying, this took place and that took place and the other took place, and she's saying that it was abuse for a long period of time, I don't know how 9 videos is going to show anything, good, bad, or indifferent, because, hey, it's going to be a lot of the he said, she said stuff. That's going to be the difficulty about this case, but we'll take a look as things go on. Anyways, Coldplay announced a 44-minute companion film to their most recent album, Moon Music. The project, called A Film for the Future, will debut on YouTube next week on January the 22nd. There will also be a live screening at especially equipped facilities in London, Manchester, and Seoul, where viewers can watch the 360-degree version in partnership with Microsoft. After the debut of the film, fans will be able to create their own remixes of the music and the video. So there you go. I'm going to do one more real quick. Just to get it in there. Whoopi Goldberg is sort of supportive of Carrie Underwood's decision to perform at Donald Trump's upcoming inauguration. I stand behind her, she said this week on The View. If I believe I have the right to make up my mind to go perform someplace, I believe that she has the right. And that being said, Goldberg said that she still won't be watching. Co-host and fellow Never Trumper Sunny Hostin added that she has a scheduled spa day on January the 20th. I don't know. It'll be interesting next week to see exactly what happens. Let's do this. It is time to do that thing that we call our main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, yeah. Apparently, it's bad button day hitting in regards of what I have going on the video side. That's just kind of what happens from time to time. Okay, so let's talk about some things that are going on. Now, I want to ask you a strange question, because there's no better way to start most of this stuff besides with strange questions. When you look at your life, do you split a personal life and a work life? Think about that for a moment. Do you split the personal life and the work life? Are they two separated things in your mind? Or are you one of these people that have it everything kind of combined into one? Now, if you work with family, then you more than likely have everything combined into one. But if you don't, it might be separated, or you still might have it mixed. Who knows? Now, I think this conversation is going to be interesting for some and not interesting for others, so let's just make sure that we're clear. But what happens when your personal life mixes with your work life? And I'm not talking with having a relationship with someone at the office, because that might be a whole other conversation that we should not probably have together. But I want you to think about this, because sometimes there is this belief that when we get to work, as our employer might think that our personal life gets put on hold and we are only focusing on work. And then there's this belief with your family life that when you leave work, work stays at work and everything kind of moves forward going on. Now, I think that those things can happen depending on your family relationship, and some of those things can happen depending on your work relationship. And that also plays a factor to what your position is. Let's be realistic. That's just kind of how it goes. So with that being said, what happens with the blend of both things? And I'm asking this for the following reason. I want you to imagine that you have at work the worst thing that could possibly occur for what you do for work. Now, if you're in safety, we all know that it is a severe injury or a fatality. Those are the things that are normally worse. Now, if we kind of look at the other side and you start looking at the family events, there's different things that can play in a factor. Bad relationship, fatality, injury, so on. Something happens to your kids, they get sick. So here's where it gets weird. If these worlds collide and you have something happening in your personal life, in a serious event at your work, which one takes priority? Like, seriously, which one takes priority? And that's where it gets strange for some things. Because we can talk about this and go, okay, well, I would have to put this as a priority. Now, everything's going to be different depending on who the person is that gives that answer. Now, the other side here, I want to throw a caveat into it. What if you own the business? What if you work with family? How do you factor these things? Now, how does that work at your workplace? How does that work with your family life? And listen, I'm not saying that before we're done today, you need to have some level of a structure on how this is going to work. But man, does it get interesting when you start thinking about it. Where do you prioritize stuff? Like, if you're a perfectionist and things have to be perfect at work and something is to come up like this, what are you to do? I'm just asking because I had a long conversation yesterday about this exact matter. And it was interesting to hear the different aspects depending on who the person was giving the answer. What is your thought process? What exactly would you do?
We're rocking all day at work because we don't give a duck. Autocorrect probably just saved my ass there.
Like I give a flying, you know.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You're listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Hey there, Jay Allen here with Safety FM, where we just don't talk about safety, we live it. And when it comes to safeguarding your future, there's no better partner than Acorns. This part of the show has been brought to you by Acorns and a powerful tool that makes saving and investing easier than ever. We all know that investing can feel overwhelming, especially with busy lives and no time to dive into the nitty-gritty of financial markets, but Acorns changes the game. With Acorns, you don't need to be a financial expert or have a hefty sum of money to get started. In fact, Acorns lets you begin with just spare change. All about those small steps, small investments today that can build into something much bigger over time. Acorns recommends that the expert build portfolio designed to fit financial goals. Then it does the heavy lifting for you by automatically investing your money. It's like having a financial advisor in your pocket working around the clock to help your money grow. So why wait? Head over to acorns.com/safetyfm or download the Acorns app and take that first step towards securing your future today. Remember, in the world of safety and investing, small actions today can lead to mighty outcomes tomorrow. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides an incentive to positively promote Acorns. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, and SEC registered investment advisors. View important disclosures at acorn.com/safetyfm. At Safety FM, we're all about making smart decisions on the job and in life. So take control of your financial future. This is Jay Allen reminding you to stay safe, stay smart, and invest in your tomorrow.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
I know you all want to hit your revenue targets and get the launch done. Well, making sure that your team knows what to do and how to do it is a huge part of it. So I'm sure that you all do different kinds of training, and I'm willing to bet that you probably use PowerPoint, Zoom, etc. I also bet that when you get someone droning on about a topic using these tools, you probably zone out. And your team does too. I mean, it is a reality of what happens. That's why I strongly recommend a tool called Articulate 360. That makes it so easy to whip together interactive, really beautiful e-learnings that really engages people and gets info across. You can create short-form micro-learning, super interactive courses, and really whatever you need when you're in their site. Then with a couple of clicks, you can send it out and check on it and see the progress of your team. Your team can also check back on the training anytime they want in a super simple portal. Literally everyone uses Articulate. Over 120,000 companies and all 100 Fortune 100 companies. Check it out at articulate.com/360 to start a free trial. That's articulate.com/360 to start your free trial. And don't forget to tell them that I was the one that sent you there.
We
RTR Radio. We are sarcasm. We are both combined. Real big.
Camera, action. Just give me that feeling. Give me that, give me that. Just give me that. Just give me that feeling. Give me that, give me that. Just give me that. Take me higher than I've been before. Keep me coming back for more. That feeling, that feeling.
Okay, we're looking for that feeling as we are 44 minutes past the top of the hour. Hanging out here on the Rated R Safety Show.
Give me that feeling.
Oh, yeah, give her that feeling. Okay, so as we are hanging out this morning, this one is called LNZE. Song's titled That Feeling, just in case you didn't figure it out. Song's readily available on Apple Music, YouTube Music, and Spotify. So there you go. Yep. It doesn't get more poppy than that. Yeah, give me that, give me that, give me that. Yeah, she's looking for that feeling. Okay, so we'd like to thank LNZE for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. Hopefully you're enjoying the Whip 'em Out Wednesday as much as I am.
Give me that feeling. See it, like it, grab it.
Okay, back to the normally scheduled program as we are hanging out doing all of our fun stuff right here on the Rated R Safety Show. Yep. You know, different strokes, different folks is just kind of the way that it goes. Okay, so let's continue talking a little bit about some other things that are going on. And if anything, this is probably going to be the most important thing that I ever tell you in my lifetime. And that is about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. And the people at To Write Love on Her Arms want you to know that people have been where you are now and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, there's going to be information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support, and that's just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com and click on the section that says Find Help. I'm telling you, it will have a very large impact if you allow it to do so in regards of the things that are going on. I will tell you, it is life-changing, because it's that important of information of what is there. So keep that in mind. Anyways, let's talk a little bit more about some other stuff. Rich wife, unhappy life. Yeah, you think that you'd be grateful, but according to a new study, men are unhappy when their wives make more money than them. The study published by the Economic Journal found that when a wife out-earns her husband, there is a higher, incidence of mental health issues for both spouses, but specifically the husband. The University of Durham researchers found and also pointed out that the share of couples where the wife out-earns the husband is growing globally in both the United States and Sweden and has increased by approximately 25%. Since the start of the millennium, in the total related news, Travis Kelce has just been named the saddest man on earth. And hey, I work in radio, so she could be making less than me legally. Yeah, she couldn't be making less than me legally. It's just not how it works. So there you go. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's kind of strange on on how people look at that stuff, but to each their own, no doubt about that. Let's see. Should I talk about the fraudster case? Let's do that. I think we should. 53-year-old French woman was conned out of $850,000 by scammers pretending to be Brad Pitt. The woman, identified only as Anne, was married to a millionaire when she started texting who she believed was A-lister actor in 2023. During the relationship, the scammers conned her out of a large chunks of money, claiming that he needed the funds for cancer treatment. The individual videos included duped photos To seal the deal. The fake Pitt said that he could access his own funds because he couldn't access his own funds because they were all tied up in the Angelina Jolie divorce. It is until Anne saw photos of Pitt out with his girlfriend, that she realized that it was a hoax after filing a complaint and entered a treatment for depression. The scammers has not been caught. And there's quite a few pictures out there in regards of what was going on. So there you go. Oh, so it gets interesting. That is for sure. I don't know. Just kind of one of those strange things in life, but those things do happen from time to time. So there you go. Okay, so let's do this. Let's bring some John Smalls into our life because he is one of the happiest people that I know in regards of things that are happening, and let him talk a little bit about the Motivation Minute. And let's go ahead and do that right now on the Rated R Safety Show.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com.
The Motivation Minute.
Today's quote was submitted by Johnny. George Bernard Shaw said, "Life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself." What a great quote. We do get to create who we want to be. I even know some people who have recreated themselves. They didn't like where they ended up in life, so in their mid-40s, they sold their home, they pulled up their roots, and they moved to the place where they wanted to live out the rest of their life. When I first met this family, I'll admit, I thought they were crazy. But to see how happy they are, where they want to be, and who they want to be, that's not crazy at all. It's kind of inspirational. Be who you want to be.
The Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your motivational quotes can be submitted for an upcoming program at motivationminute.org.
Hello, I'm Richard Exley with your 1-minute devotion. When we emphasize the wrong things, it is only a matter of time until we reap what we have sowed. For nearly 3 decades, charismatic ministers have been preaching prosperity, and it's finally catching up with us. We have developed an attitude of entitlement. It is our ministry, and the assets are ours to do with as we see fit, with only our conscience to guide us. That's a precarious place, and few of us can manage it. The Apostle Paul said, "Those who want to get rich fall into temptation and a trap and into many foolish and harmful desires." Lord, give us godliness with contentment, which is great gain. In your holy name we pray. Amen. If these devotions are a blessing and an encouragement to you, you can subscribe at oneminutedevotion.com.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Ukrainian President Zelensky has pledged to capture more North Korean soldiers fighting for Russia after 2 were detained over the weekend.
The 2 soldiers from North Korea were apprehended in the Kursk Oblast, a Russian region bordering Ukraine, Zelensky stated in a post on X. Putin began 3 years ago with demands on NATO and efforts to rewrite history, but now he relies on military aid from Pyongyang, he added, referencing Russian President Vladimir Putin. Benjamin Wright reporting.
Illegal Israeli settlers in the West Bank continue to perpetrate violence against Palestinians in the occupied Palestinian territory.
The United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs reported last week that during the year's first week, illegal settlers injured 18 Palestinians, while Israeli authorities demolished homes belonging to approximately 50 individuals as part of punitive measures. Joseph Eckerson reporting.
The death toll from wildfires near Los Angeles has risen as California officials disclosed that more people are missing.
The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Office announced on social media that it will maintain a zero tolerance for looters policy. Curfews are being enforced in evacuation zones, including affected areas of Altadena. Deputies are enforcing curfews in Altadena and maintaining vigilance to prevent looting, Sergeant Miguel Meza from the Sheriff's Office stated. Lawrence Keller reporting.
This is the latest news headlines.
Syria's new leader Ahmad Sharaa has called on Lebanon to move past the negative history stemming from decades of the Assad family's rule, vowing to address unresolved issues and forge strong strategic ties.
Sharaa referenced the damaged relationship during the tenure of late Syrian President Hafez Assad. He described Lebanese caretaker Prime Minister Najib Mikati's visit to Damascus as a step toward a new phase, and affirmed that long-term strategic ties would be established between the neighboring nations with significant mutual interests. Chris Anderson reporting.
NFL draft prospect Kieran Lacy, a leading wide receiver candidate, is being sought for negligent homicide in connection to a fatal crash in Louisiana last month, state police reported Friday.
The Louisiana State Police announced an arrest warrant for Lacy, 24, of Thibodaux, accusing him of leaving the scene of a fatal December 17th crash. Authorities allege that Lacy drove around the crash site and fled south without providing aid, contacting emergency services, or reporting his involvement in the incident, according to the police state. Kyle Norris reporting.
Reality TV personality chase. Chrisley is accused of striking the manager of a popular Atlanta sports bar after refusing to leave.
Chrisley, known from the show Chrisley Knows Best, featuring his family, was reportedly intoxicated at a Twin Peaks restaurant on January 6th. When the manager asked him to leave, Chrisley allegedly struck him twice in the face, including once while the manager was on the phone with 911, according to an Atlanta police report. Jessica Oakley reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
If you ever wished that Facebook had a suck it button, you suck! This rock block is for you.
Okay, so here we go. Let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. We take a look back at 2009. Sully Sullenberger lands his historic miracle on the Hudson flight. The passenger jet hit a flock of geese just as it was ascending and lost power in both engines. Sully was unable to return to the runway and prepared for a water landing. Everyone that survived, though, one passenger suffered 2 broken legs. The disaster also demonstrated the influence of social media in a digital age. Photos and videos on the plane and the water began popping up on the computer screens and smartphones around the globe almost instantly, both with witnesses and victims. That happened back on this date in 2009. Let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today. Debo Samuel turns 29. Dove Cameron turns 29 as well. Carolyn Arabalo turns 34. Skrillex turns 37. Kelly Kelly turns 38. Ben Shapiro turns 41. Pitbull turns 44. Drew Brees 46. Regina King 54. Shane McMahon turns 55 today, and Charo, actress and comedian, she turns 74 today. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, I have some of those for you. It's National Hat Day, National Strawberry Ice Cream Day, and Museum Selfie Day. So does that mean I should go to the museum and take a selfie? I mean, I'm not sure here. Just asking to have a better understanding. Okay, if you need a random joke for today, it should sound like this. I just had my patience tested, and I'm negative. I thought it was pretty good. Okay, what is the wildest bit of mischief you've ever, hold on. What's the wildest bit of mischief your pet has ever gotten into? If you need a question for the water cooler, try this. Almost 20% of us leave home today with this, but don't use it. What is it? A gym bag. Of course you're using the gym bag. It's carrying your stuff. Doesn't mean you're going to take it to the gym. Just means it's carrying your stuff around. So there you go. Let's talk about would you rather. Would you rather be captured by pirates or bad guys from the Old West? Something to think about. Would you rather have a terrible boss but a great job, or a great boss and a terrible job? Would you rather speak only in a baby voice for a day, or only speak in TO in a baby voice for the day? Would you rather go over into the past and meet your ancestors, or go into the future and meet your great-grandchildren? Yeah, these are some good questions to think about. Anyways, that's going to sum up our time together. At the top of the hour, I'll be going over to radiobig.fm for the next couple hours or so if you want to come and hang out with me. If you don't, that's fine. You can hang out on Safety FM and hang out with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he is talking about the world of safety consulting. Anyways, thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because without you, it makes
no sense
to do what we do around here. That is for sure. If I can't leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this. Being a professional is doing the things that you love to do on the days that you don't feel like doing them. Yep. That's what it's all about. So there you go. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
Hey, hey, hey. Press play. Press play. Lights, camera, action. Just give me that feeling.